بسم الله الصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today we're going to cover the Surah Al-Adiyat. And this surah generally, it's probably one of the last surahs people will study or read or find out the meaning, because a lot of new words are used in the surah that we don't come across in our day-to-day life. That's why for most of us, we just skip the meaning of the surah. But it has, I really like the surah because of the meaning it contains and the message it contains. And in a way, it's a unique way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses to give us this message. Surah Adiyat, the beginning of Surah Adiyat has got something to do with the horses. And with this class, because the wordings are really difficult, I tried to bring you guys visual representation of as much as we can. Okay, I used, of course, artificial intelligence to generate some of the images without the eyes and faces. So you can see the surah, and inshallah, once you see it, you'll not be able to forget it. And next time the Imam reads it or you read it, you understand the meaning and the words in the surah. So let's start. I will skip the word by word for this one because there's a lot of new words and it will be difficult for you to remember the words. So let's go through the tafsir itself. Again, our courses are not so much tafsir as much as just trying to understand or convey the basic meaning of the ayah. Okay, we don't, dive deep into the tafsir of the verses. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَالْعَادِيَاتِ ضَبْحًا. The wow, yeah, the wow is for the qasam. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is taking an oath. And you take, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes an oath by something, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is magnifying and telling us the status of that thing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes an oath by time, and Yawm al-Qiyamah, showing the greatness, or there is something about these things that we need to pay attention. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is taking wal adiyat. And adiyat are the races or the horses that are running, the horses basically. Dabha. Dabha is panting. Okay, Dabha is the sound that comes from the chest of the horse while it's running, while it's really tired, running. The sound that comes, this sound is not produced except by the horse. Okay, the running and tiredness sound that comes. Some Ibn Abbas and other commentaries say dogs have the same thing, but some of the scholars say this is only for the horse. Only horse produces this sound. Okay, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, look, a really specific action in the horse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is taking an oath by it. Okay, and by the way, these wal'adiyat dabha is talking about the horses of jihad, which we'll clarify in a bit. So the horses that go, with the owners in jihad, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is taking an oath by that. So Allah takes an oath by horses. And so this is what I'm reading is from Tafseer Sa'di now. Allah takes an oath by the horses due to his splendid signs and everything blessing that they contain. Virtues recognized by everyone, Allah takes an oath by them when they are in a state in which they do not resemble other animals. So that's what Ibn Sa'di says. So only horses have that, sound. By the horse that run with panting breath, running swiftly and powerfully, snorting and exerting causes their breaths to come out in pant and snort. So this excessive or heavy breathing that the horse has while it's running, on jihad towards the enemy, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is taking an oath on that. Okay, now just for something for you to ponder upon, imagine Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is describing these qualities or these actions of the horse of jihad, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is praising that and taking an oath by that. What do you think of the person doing the jihad itself? How great is the status of that person itself that goes out in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And then Allah says, فَالْمُورِيَاتِ قَدْحًا, and the producers of sparks when striking. So these horses, imagine now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving you this scenario. You have the horses of the mujahideen that are running towards the enemy. And these horses, their hooves, when they touch the rocks, sparks come out. So look how precisely Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is describing these horses. These horses of jihad, when the hooves, you can see that in the image, it touches the rocks and sparks come out because of speed and the strength that they're going at. Okay, which causes sparks to fly. فَالْمُغِيرَاتِ صُبْحًا, launching raids against the enemy at dawn. فَالْمُغِيرَاتِ صُبْحًا, as this is generally when raids are done. Even Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he used to wait in the morning before attacking an enemy. If he heard the adhan, he will not attack. If he didn't hear the adhan, he would attack. Okay, so generally raids are in the morning. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving us again more and more description of the horses of jihad, that they're breathing heavily, running towards the enemy, and they're going so fast and they're exerting so much power that when the hooves hit the stones, sparks fire. And then فَالْمُغِيرَاتِ صُبْحًا, they're launching attacks in the morning, okay, at dawn. فَأَثَرْنَ بِهِ نَقْعًا, and due to the attack, due to the rage, now imagine all the horses moving forward at the same time, this causes dust. Naqa, dust, okay, stirring up clouds of dust because of the speed of the charge. Again, these horses going in massive groups charging towards the enemy, this causes dust to come up. And imagine Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is taking oaths by these actions, or these status of the horse, what the horse is doing, okay, for jihad. فَأَثَرْنَا, stirring up clouds. Naqa, clouds, okay, clouds of dust coming up. Naqa, sorry, dust. Naqa, dust, clouds of dust. فَوَسَطْنَا بِهِ جَمْعًا فَوَسَطْنَا بِهِ جَمْعًا, and penetrating into the heart of enemy lines Okay, فَوَسَطْنَا بِهِ جَمْعًا. Then you'll find the horses charging in the middle of the enemy. The horses, middle of the enemy, in middle of the enemy lines, they are charging. فَوَسَطْنَا بِهِ جَمْعًا, penetrating into the heart of the enemy lines they charged against. Okay, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala again describing these horses of jihad. Now, I have a question before I move on to the next line. As Muslims, we are not allowed to take an oath by anyone other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's a common practice that we see people saying, especially in the West, they say by my mom's life, my dad's life, or swear by your mom's life. Same with Indo-Pak and other places, they take an oath with the mother and the father. This is not allowed in Islam. You can only take an oath by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the question that begs to ask is, then what about Allah? Allah takes and so Shamsi wa duhaha wal qamar, so he takes sun and the moon and the day and the night and the horses and the time. How come Allah is swearing by other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? The answer for that is simple. We as human beings, we are commanded not to swear by anyone other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not restricted to what He commands us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, La yus'alu amma yaf'al wa hum yus'alun. He's not questioned about what He does, but they will be questioned. So we are ordered to obey Allah and His Messenger, and we cannot take an oath for other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but Allah can take an oath upon whatever He wishes. No one will question Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, why all of these oaths were being taken? Why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is taking all these oaths? وَالْعَادِيَاتِ ضَبْحًا, the horses that are panting, and فَالْمُورِيَاتِ قَدْحًا, and the producers of sparks, فَالْمُغِيرَاتِ صُبْحًا, those that attack at dawn, فَأَثَرْنَ بِهِ نَقًا, stirring up clouds of dust, فَوَسَطْنَ بِهِ جَمْعًا, they go in charge in the midst of the enemy. All of this description, what is the reason the oath is being taken by? إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لِرَبِّهِ لَكَنُودٌ. Inna al-insana, inna, verily, insan, human being, or the jinns, all of the humans, لِرَبِّهِ لَكَنُودٌ. People, لَكَنُود, لِرَبِّ, of course, لِرَبْ, لَكَنُود, ungrateful. Indeed, undoubtedly, human beings are ungrateful. And the tafsir says, meaning that they are unwilling to spend that which Allah has made a must on them. So, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala obligated things on us, but we don't do that. People by nature do not freely fulfill their duties. Often what they do, when they do fulfill them, they do not do them completely or go beyond what is required. So even sometimes the people that do fulfill them, they lack or slack or do it out of laziness. And then almost you don't find people that do more than what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded. Some people will only do the bare basics, minimum. Okay, their nature is one of laziness, and they lack the resolve to fulfill His duties, those related to both wealth and body, except for those Allah has guided, and they do not have this characteristic, rather they fulfill the rights. Of course, there is an exception. So we have those, except those that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guided, and they fulfill the obligations and stay away from prohibitions and try their best to increase in doing good things. But innal insana li rabbihi lakanud. Now, try to understand this. A horse, for its owner, is running fast. It's out of breath. It's running so fast that its feet are sparking fire when it hits the ground. It's charging towards the enemy. It goes into battlefield, into war, with the spears and swords. Of course, if the owner is killed, most likely even the horse will be damaged and be hit and killed. But the horse does that for its master, for its owner. It rides into the enemy ranks and fights with the owner. And look at the contrast. So in a way, Allah is saying, if the horse does that for its master, then what about you, insan? Inna al-insana li rabbihi lakanud. Human beings are ungrateful. Look at the horse. It's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this visual now you have after reading the surah. A horse will do anything for its owner. It's a horse. And you as a human being, what do? Do you fulfill the commands and stay away from prohibitions? وَإِنَّهُ عَلَى ذَلِكَ لَشَهِيدٌ. And a human being itself is a witness that he slacks, that he's ungrateful. Some people say, وَإِنَّهُ, and he is, refers to Allah. Of course, for sure Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is shaheed. Allah knows. Allah is a witness of everything we do. Some of the mufassirin, they say, وَإِنَّهُ goes back to insan. That insan, he is a witness on what he does. And he himself is a witness to this. Meaning, the human being, to his lack of desire in fulfilling duties, he will not deny or reject this because it's evident. So as I said, some scholars say the pronoun وَإِنَّهُ refers to Allah, that Allah is a witness, and some say وَإِنَّهُ means insan. Human beings are the witness. وَإِنَّهُ لِحُبِّ الْخَيْرِ لَشَدِيدٌ. وَإِنَّهُ, or he is, or the human being, لِحُبِّ الْخَيْرِ. Khayr here means wealth. Okay. Indeed, human beings are extreme in the love of wealth or worldly gains. It is this love that has led them to abandon fulfilling His obligations. So all of us, you see, we become busy with the dunya, with gaining, the goods of the world. If you look at a human being, he works 8 hours in office, maybe 1 hour going, 1 hour coming, 10 hours his life. He goes just to get enough to eat, just to survive, just to eat and pay his rent. But the same human being, you ask him an hour for his time for salah, you'll say, no, I don't have time, brother, I'm busy. You ask him to attend a class, no, brother, I'm busy. And this was the reason he was created. He was created to worship Allah, and everything else was a side thing. But his love of wealth and his love of just dunya and dunya and dunya drives him away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah says, وَإِنَّهُ لِحُبِّ الْخَيْرِ لَشَدِيدٌ. He has this, great desire, extreme desire for wealth. And we have the hadith that if you give son of Adam a mountain of gold, you'll ask for another one. They have given precedence to the lusts of the soul over the good pleasures of the Lord. So they prefer pleasing themselves rather than pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is due to them focusing their attention in this world while they are heedless of the next life. So the first part of the surah we saw was about horses, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was giving or praising the horses. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the opposite of that, talking about humans. What are humans doing? They are ungrateful. And then to awaken these human beings, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give them a reminder, admonish the human beings to remind them the reality or the purpose they're created. Talks about, reveals the next verses. أَفَلَا يَعْلَمُ إِذَا بُعْثِرَ مَا فِي الْقُبُورِ. It says, do they not know that when the contents of the graves will be spilled out, وَحُصِّلَ مَا فِي الصُّدُورِ, and the secrets of the heart will be made known, إِنَّ رَبَّهُمْ بِهِمْ يَوْمَئِذٍ لَخَبِيرٌ. Of course, on that day, their Lord is all-knowing about them. So, أَفَلَا يَعْلَمُ إِذَا بُعْثِرَ مَا فِي الْقُبُورِ. It's for this reason that Allah says, directing his attention to the promised day. So after telling that human beings are ungrateful, Allah directs the attention now. Remember, you have a day of judgment, that all the contents of the graves will be taken out, and the contents of the earth will be spilled out. And we talked about that in our previous tafsir as well. The dead are taken out of the graves, resurrected, and gathered. وَحُصِّلَ مَا فِي الصُّدُورِ, and the secrets of the hearts will be made known. Whatever they contain of good and evil is made known. Secrets become open, and concealed become apparent. The end result of these will be plainly seen on the people's faces. So look, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Al-Qubur was-Sudur. And Ibn al-Qayyim mentions Qubur, they hide the bodies. Qubur, he hides, or he has the contents of the bodies. And Sudur hides the secrets. And both will be taken out on the day of judgment. There'll be nothing hidden inside your heart on the day of judgment, and there'll be nothing hidden of the bodies in the Qubur. Surely, inna rabbahum bihim yawma'idhin lakhabir. Their Lord is all aware of them on that day, the outer and inner deeds. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says Allah knows everything, internal or external, anything you made public or secret, Allah knows that, the minor and the major, and He will recompense them for them. Any deeds you do will be recompensated for. Even though Allah is perfectly informed about them on every day, this day has specially been mentioned to highlight that those deeds will be fully recompensed, since Allah is fully aware of them. So the ayah says, inna rabbahum bihim yawma'idhin lakhabir. Allah on that day is all aware. Okay. But does that mean Allah doesn't know the other days? Of course Allah knows. But this day is chosen, or Allah talks about this day, that on that day Allah is aware of everything you did, because on that day you will get recompensated for everything that you did on this world. That's the end of the surah. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. I will only answer questions on the surah itself.